Okay, so nobody as like an 18-year-old is really teaching you about money. You're not learning it at school, you're not necessarily learning it with your friends if you're not in the right circle. And if you're not that way inclined, you're gonna grow up and look back when you're 40 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old and wish, oh wow, I wish I put these things in place. Oh wow, I wish I learned this when I was younger. Well, thankfully, you're watching this video, so that won't be you. If you implement these things and you do as you're told, then you're not going to be in that situation and you're going to set yourself up in a way. And I'm not talking necessarily you're going to have millions and this, that, and the other, but in a way that you're going to be able to support yourself, support your family, support anyone who's relying on you, and most importantly, you, and you don't have to struggle. So that's enough rambling. We're going to get into the videos. We're going to cover the topics the things rather, that are going to set you up for success, and most importantly, the foundations that you need to learn and implement now to make sure that you have a fruitful life when you are older. And also, really quick, why should you listen to me? Why should you listen to this video? Well, I'm 22. I started my own business. I built it to a decent amount that I'm making a month. If you watch my other videos, you would have known and see that process. But also, when I was 18, I started learning about these things, started implementing these things. So now, even at 22, I have a couple of things in place to make sure when I have my children or when I'm older, it's going to be living the soft life. I'm sure you want that for yourself. So, and I'm even in Brazil right now because I have that financial freedom to get up and go and move around and work from wherever. So, I can happily say I've learnt a thing or two and I'm somewhat qualified. Somewhat. Some people may not say, but to give a little bit of advice. So I hope you find this video helpful, and let's get straight into it. I think one of the most important things that I want people to take from this video is that a lot of the decisions, sadly it is the case, a lot of the decisions you make now, you make in your 20s, you make in your early years of living. Obviously there's still so much learning going on and you're still, in my eyes, a baby. I still kind of think that of myself anyway, but all the things that you implement now will really compound and build the life that you want to build later. So would you rather put all the effort in now and do all those things and do all those learnings now, or suffer when you're older? You make that decision. But I know which one I'd rather be doing. Okay, so what you have to understand is right now it's not necessarily about income, because I'm going to assume, obviously you're young, you're not making a fat lot. And what I done when I was 18, it was prime COVID time. It's like 16, no, okay, the latter of prime COVID time. And I knew, because I've always been this way inclined, that I know the type of life that I wanted to live. So in order, and I always see people, I was speaking with my friend the other day, people who've achieved all these things, and I never think, oh, that could never be me, but how have they done it? What steps have they taken to get to that life? And how can I do it too? So yes, it's not about income right now. I think so much of it is about learning. You should be focused on knowledge, on direction, and about building habits, right? So one thing I done and I implemented was reading books about business, about psychology, about sales, about marketing, all those things, because that's also what I wanted to get into, and I wanted to build my business and whatnot. And I also know, so when I was 18, I did an internship in Spain for 3 months working at a small fashion company. And then I say fashion company, it was like 2 people who owned the company. It was a very small company. And then equally, I went to Sweden for 2 months and worked and also helped this company with their marketing. Did I get paid for it? No. And also I'd done similar things when I was over in England, but did I get paid for it? No. But did I learn so much that has helped me get to where, I am now. And I also think a lot, especially as a young person, nowadays you're on social media, you're seeing all these things. Oh my God, I made $1 million at 20, or oh my God, I'm making 10K a month, and all these different things. But even with my video, when I hit my first 10K a month, I don't think people understand that there was so much that went into it. It wasn't just, yes, okay, 1 month I happened to hit that number, but so much learnings, so much, all those books that I read when I was 16, 17, 18, all those people that I done free work for, all that knowledge I accumulated when I was this age, your age now, is what helped me hit that number when I was 22, 21, 22. So it's all about the learning. Focus on that now, because more than likely, yes, you're going to be making money, but it's going to be small doses. You want to focus on learning. And a couple topics that I would focus on learning, that I focus on learning, was about investing, and we're going to get onto that in a second, about what the importance of investing, why, how to invest. And there's so much videos you can watch on YouTube about this. Like I said, you have to put that effort in, and you're not going to reap the rewards straight away and, okay, I've watched a couple of videos and now I'm a multimillionaire. No, it might be when you're 25, when you're 26, you're going to thank your 30, 40, whatever age, thank yourself for learning all these things. Because what I've realized is there's so many people out there, and it's sad, but so many people out there in their 30s, 40s, in not great situations, because they didn't necessarily learn these things when they were older, and unfortunately didn't necessarily have those people to teach them, or be that way inclined to think, okay, I need to do these things now because it's going to benefit me when I'm older. But I'm guessing as you're watching this video, you have that intent. Anyway, so that's my first point. It's not about maximizing income right now, but maximizing knowledge and learning, and making sure you're building those skills and those habits. First and foremost, mindset is everything. So that's my first point. Another one is investing in your network and experiences. Now, again, if you've watched my videos before and you know me, you know I love to travel. And I don't think travel in any way is a waste of money, because you learn so much, you meet great people, and it helps you grow as a person. But equally, yes, you need to have those experiences, and I think that is really important to have. Young, I was here, there, and everywhere. I did Camp America, so that in working in upstate New York for 3 months, like I said, I did the internships. I was here, there, and everywhere. But equally, I made sure I was networking here, there, and everywhere. They would hate to see me coming. But through that, I met great people. Yes, people a couple steps ahead of me, but also was able to connect with, like-minded people. Because not sadly, but I don't think there's necessarily a lot of people, or you might if you don't necessarily have people around you who think like you, or want to are really ambitious, or want to do these things, or create this life, a lot of people, especially when you're young, which is understandable, but if you want to set yourself up, you need to do things differently. If you have that mindset, you need to also surround yourself with people who are like that, or it's gonna be harder to, get to where you want to go. But networking events, how did I do it? I feel like a lot of the people that I met and how I done it was through the work for free that I done. Like I said, guys, I was doing a whole load of work for free. And yes, it might cost money to go to networking events or travel here and there to, help these businesses. I remember I was literally, and through knowing different people and helping different people, I got to literally work with big business owners and be able to help out on shoots. And even if I was just doing running around and giving people coffees and teas and asking, oh, how's things going, and holding coats and whatnot, I was able to meet really great people and even sit down with them. Even I went to an event not that long ago, and like I said, the importance of just talking to people, met this guy who had this venture capital company. Is that even how you say it? Something like that. It was a venture, had a company doing helping startups get money and whatnot, and through that we ended up having multiple calls, him speaking about how to grow my business. When I had problems about my business, he would help with advice and whatnot, and I ended up helping him and his company with his marketing, basically meeting all the friends. He'd done events and helped at those events and got to meet more people, and that was simply from going to an event, speaking to people, and making sure, like, I was out of my comfort zone. I often went to these things by myself, but I knew if I want to learn from people who are a couple steps ahead of me, I need to get out of my comfort zone and meet these people. And that's exactly what I did, and recommend that you do. You can find these on Eventbrite. You can find these a lot of, maybe on TikTok, on Instagram. You can, that's another one really quickly, reach out to people who are a couple steps ahead of you. So what I done, I would find people on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube that are in a position I wanted to be in, and I would literally say, okay, look, I really like your content, I would love to offer my services for free, or if you need this doing, if you'll need that doing. They might not respond. You need to get fine. You need to get comfortable with rejection, because that happens so much if you want to start your own business. If you want to do anything in life, you have to get comfortable with rejection. But when they did respond, I got loads of opportunities through that. I got to meet people. Like I said, help out on shoots. I got to even just have coffee chats with them and ask them about how they grew their business, how they went about it, advice that they can give me as a young. And I feel like as well, a lot of like older business people like to see like ambitious young people kind of wanting to do things, and are like, oh, okay, I see you have that drive, I'm going to give you all the advice I can, because there's very kind people out there. So that is my second point, and I really recommend. So find a list of people, 5, 10, reach out 10 people you look up to, you admire. Maybe not people with like 10 million followers, because they're unlikely to respond, but drop them a message. What are you actually going to lose from it? Genuinely. They don't respond, or you know that joke on Instagram where it's like, oh, the worst you can say is no, and it's like, oh my god, get out of my effing DMs, and this, like, hopefully that won't happen, but the worst they're going to do is not respond, and you're in the same position you would have been in before you sent the message. On the upside, they do respond. There we go. So that's my second point. Okay, so my third point, I feel like I'm a little bit out of frame. There we go. My third point is to start planning early. And I feel like a lot of people think, oh, you know, it's wishy-washy, like leave it till later, you're only young. But you need to start putting the foundations in place and know to some extent what you want in life. Like, again, you're young, things are going to change, experiences are going to happen, you might change your mind and want to do this and want to do that, but knowing, like, simple things, simple habits, you know, set down your goals, what you want in life, things you want to try. Even if, like, for example, you wanted to be, I don't know, start a yoga company, let's say hypothetically, you hated it, move on to the next thing. Then you try this, then you try that. You need to try and fail. You need to see what you like, not stick in a job that you hate because it's a societal thing to do, or go to university and then go to impress your parents, then go into something, again, you're making good money, but you hate it, and you're, you know, working for someone who isn't a nice person. You get, 14 days off in 365 days to spend on holiday when the rest of the time you're miserable. No. You don't want that. So start planning and having an idea of what you want to do, okay? And then also vision building or vision board building. I'm very big on this. If you would go into like my bedroom at home in my parents' house, it's like in my computer, my phone, less on my phone now, but on my computer, you would see clearly the life that I wanted to live. And I think you just have to be in this life very clear about what you want, not to go all wishy-washy and manifesty, but when you can see it and you can believe you can do it, you can make it happen. I had on my computer on my wall, for example, I wanted to, and I don't think, I'm always against like the how do I put this, rather than complaining, that's why maybe I'm very not strict, but very less tolerant to complainers who don't complaining people who don't do anything. It's okay to complain, but if you're not going to put any action in, what's the point in, like, don't complain about it, just you've accepted it. So for example, back in the day when I used to be really self-conscious or unhappy with how I looked, and I wasn't necessarily happy with my weight, I was like, rather than complaining, going over it again and again in my head, what habits can I build and what things can I do to make sure I'm going to be happy with myself and in good shape? So I had, in my vision board, the gym, I had how much weight I wanted to lose, how much, when it onto finances, how much money I wanted to have invested, how much I wanted to make a month, the places that I wanted to go, the types of events that the types of people I wanted to be around. And I'm telling you, 90% of those things, let me even look at my thing now. So this is my new one. Right, let me show you my old one. So this is the one I had last year. So if we have a quick look, what did we have? Right, travel, all those places I traveled to, Brazil, make 10k a month, hit that. Fitness wise, apartment, eating healthy, how much I wanted to have invested, hit that. The books I wanted to read, starting vlogging and being a bit more consistent with it and making content rather. Didn't hit 10k on YouTube because admittedly I wasn't consistent. We all have faults, give it a rest. And then I have one for this year too, but you need to see it to believe it, okay? Write down. I'm sorry, again, it's gonna sound wishy-washy, but I can only advise on the things I've done, the things I've seen work for others. But I wrote down exactly what I want in life, the people I want to surround myself with, the countries I wanted to travel to, the amount of money I wanted to make, and also the steps that I was going to take to get there. So that's my third one, and that's what I recommend to do, okay? Visualize it, to see it, and you've got to be a bit delusional, because realistically, those people that say, be realistic, you have one life. Everybody's going to die one day, and you can't live that life in regret, not doing the things that you want to do because you try to impress other people or you cared about the opinions of others. You deserve to live a fruitful life and achieve all the things that you want to achieve, because if the next man can do it, so can you. Okay, and then here's also a couple of things to avoid as an 18-year-old, because also I understand you're trying to impress friends, you're trying to look good, you're trying to do this, that, and the other. But you, even if, let's say you're making good money or you're making a decent amount coming in, firstly, you don't want to be spending that and having no money left over. Again, this video isn't too focused on investing and all of that, but obviously there's so many videos out there you can watch and you should watch, but at least start, how do I put this, like, the earlier you start investing, the better. I think it's a lot better than saving. A lot of people, and I'm not talking about picking into individual stocks, putting your money in the S&P 500 or FTSE 100 index funds. Unless the whole world is collapsing, it's unlikely you're going to lose all your money. But again, watch a proper video about that, because I'm not detailing that now. But rather than letting, lifestyle inflation and trying to look good to impress everyone else and getting the handbag and the shoes and the coats and this, that you don't really, okay, maybe you do care about it, but you don't really care about it. Put some money aside. It might be £10, it might be £20, it might be £100 a month, and let that compound over time. Put it in an investment account. There's Vanguard. I use Vanguard. I don't know the others. I'm guessing there's a whole bunch you can use, but Vanguard I recommend. Don't let that lifestyle inflation to impress other people get into your head, right? But also, it's important to know that, how do I put this? For example, when I started my business, because I was watching all these different videos, I've made my millions or this, that, and the other. You think that, let's say you're going to start investing, you're going to start saving, or you're going to start working, or you're going to start this business or whatever and make all this money. But you're comparing yourselves to these people who are on their step 100 and you're on your step 1. It takes a lot of time, and how I said, like, when I hit my first 10k month, let's say, when I first started, I thought, okay, it's going to be 3 months into the business and I'm going to do this. No, it takes time, it takes learning, it takes knowledge, and all these things compound over time. So I'm trying to say this the same as, like, the not spending on silly stuff or investing your money. You might think, oh, I'm young, dumb and silly now, but you are going to get older and you don't want to be young, dumb and broke then. So also, I didn't know how great this hammock is just in the frame. Anyway, but yes, so I think obviously there's so much that's happening at 18, so much that's going on, so much that life stuff is happening that you don't want to think about these things, but your future self will thank you for it. You don't need perfection at 18, you're still learning. I'm talking like I'm like a 50-year-old woman. I'm still learning too. I'm just saying the things that I've learned, I've implemented, and most importantly, because I'm still young, things that I've learned from the people that I've worked with and the women that I've seen do 6 figures a month, or the business owners that I've worked with making a whole heap of money, and you think to yourself, oh, I'd never be able to achieve this, oh, I'd never be able to do it, but you see the things that they've put in place and you think, oh, okay. So anyway, like I said, you don't need perfection. You're still lifing it up, still learning. You just need some sort of direction. You need to learn the basics and the foundations of things that will set you up for the future, like investing, like saving your money, like growing your network, building your knowledge on any subject area that you want to learn and go into. Be an educated person, whether that's in psychology and how people think, in sales, you might want to do marine biology. If you're going to do something, be the best at it and be knowledgeable. Just remember, small actions and small decisions and small habits that you make now will compound when you're older, and you'll thank yourself for it, because all these small things that you don't see that you're doing will add up and will help. So anyway, I hope you found the video useful, and yeah, I will see you in the next one, and let me know your favorite thing in the comments, I suppose, and like, subscribe and all that good jazz, and I will see you soon. That's a blow.